Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello everyone. Hope all of you are doing well. Now coming to and talking about the second unit of your curriculum of sociology is talking about the basic concepts. So in the first unit we have understood what is sociology, we have understood how is sociology related to different disciplines. Now the second part of understanding of sociology is talking about the basic concepts in sociology. What are the basic concepts? What are those things that we are going to talk about throughout in the discipline of sociology? What is it revolving around? All of these aspects of sociology are something that we are going to talk about in this unit. So the first and the foremost thing that we talk about in this unit here is the concept of society. We have talked about that society is the fundamental or the basic unit of sociology, because sociology revolves around understanding the society. So talking about society, sociology is the study of society. Exactly what I said, that it is a study of society. Therefore, the concept of society is the basic or the fundamental of sociology. What is the basic or the fundamental of sociology? That is what is society. Society is the basic and the fundamental, because that is something which makes the heart, which makes the crux of the understanding or the learning of sociology. Therefore, it is important or it is necessary to explain what society is and to give a sociological definition to society. Now, when we are studying about society, when we are studying about sociology in aspect to society, it is important to give the sociological definition of the term society. However, it is a common practice or ordinary language. People use the word society to mean different types of groupings or association or institutions of people. Different types of groupings, maybe let's say a gendered society, a male society, a female society, a old age society. All of these are when you are trying to give meaning to the different types of groupings or associations which are there in the institution of people. Some of such are European society, Hindu society, Brahmin society, middle class society, Arya Samaj society, and so on and so forth. Now, the word society is used to mean different types of communities, such as rural society, urban society, and tribal society. So, all of these are again the aspects and the distribution of society. Now, these usages are sociologically not exact or precise. These are not the exact or the precise units or the precise understanding of the term sociology or of the term society. So, understanding what does society mean otherwise, the English word society is derived from the Latin word societas, meaning companionship. So, the root meaning of word society is a system of life of companions. What does it mean? It is actually a system of the life of companions. It means companionship. It means togetherness. It means that, it is a system here in them keeping the aspect of togetherness and companionship in association with each other, and hence makes the term society, which means a system of social relationships. So a whole system of social relationships that we have formed within the sphere of society, within the sphere of ourselves, is known as the society. Now, here is the explanation in detail, which they say that the system what includes is the interactions, the conditions of interactions, the norms, the values behind the norms, the sanctions associated with the norms, the institutions, a fixed set of norms, performing activities and aspects of social life, and hence the meaning of society becomes abstract, very, very important. important. Society is not something that I can, fix it in a four structured wall. It is not something that I can write it down what is the exact what all comes under the exact definition of society. It is an abstract idea. It is something that we have in here, that we are able to feel it, wherein you have all the interactions based on the conditions of the interactions, the norms, the values, the values behind the norms behind the values, the sanction associated with norms, the institutions fixed as a set of norms, and so on and so forth. So that is all what makes the system of social relationships or a system of social interactions, and that is what is society for us. Very important for you to understand and to relate to this abstract idea of society, that it is not something which is in reality present in front of you, that okay, this is what a room is and that is what a society is limited to. No, it is an abstract idea. It is based on all of these factors and the interactions developed between each other during this phase. Now, McIver and Page define the society as the web of social relationships. Again, like we talked about, it is a system of social relationships, or when you talk about a web of social relationships, so you have all of these aspects related to one another, and hence it becomes the web of social relationships that we follow. Now, Harry M. Johnson defines the society is a group of people who shares a common culture, occupy a particular territory, and feels themselves unified and a distinct entity. So you feel that you're together a unified entity, but you feel that from the others you are a distinct entity. You have some differences. You have a particular territory that you are belonging to, but are not just in a way catered to, not just in a way defined to. You are belonging to that particular territory or occupy a particular territory, but that does not mean that you are just defined to that particular territory only. And obviously there is the sharing of the common culture as well. So according to Giddings, it is that the society is a union of individuals of unique behavior. When you talk about the union of individuals of unique behavior, it is that you kind of have one particular behavior, and there are other individuals also. You have certain kind of behavior, and you people are united together in one sphere or in one goal or in one society togetherness, which is termed as society, and that is what is the Giddings definition of society. Moving on to very important aspect of the characteristics of the society. What are the characteristics of the society? How do you understand? How do you relate to what society is? So we can understand the concept of society better by going through its features, and the majority of the sociologists have agreed to the following features that we are going to talk about, out of which the first one is likeness. Okay, now understanding what is likeness. Society means likeness. We just talked about it is an association of the people of the unique nature. Association, that is likeness. Where there is likeness, there is society. Where there is some kind of likeness in the form of the similarities that are there, there is society. Now, likeness manifests in many forms: likeness in sex, nationality, language, attitudes, norms, values, beliefs, aspirations, physical features, and so on and so forth. Now, likeness makes it easy to establish the conditions of interaction, such as the mutual awareness and communication. If two people are having a similar mindset, if two people are having similar ideas, if two people are both maybe male and belonging to the similar cultural group, it will give them an easy aspect of interaction, and hence becomes an easy part of being a part of the society. This in turn leads to the development of social relationships. You interact, you get to know each other, you form a social relationship with each other, and hence is the formation of the society becomes easier, and hence it becomes the characteristics of the society. Moving on to another very important aspect is the difference. There is likeness, but what in terms of difference is, let us try and understand. Now, society also means difference. Difference is equally important as likeness. Mere likeness limits the social relationship. If I am exactly like you, do you think we will be able to interact post a period of time? No, there will be lack of communication in terms of the exchange of ideas. If my thinking is exactly like you, what kind of ideas or what kind of values are we putting in each other's ideas? And hence is the concept of difference very important. People differ in their capabilities, in their ideas, in attitudes, desires, in their sex, belief, etc. And factors of difference leads to the mutual exchange and sharing. A male and a female also, however, they are two different societies as well, collaboratively make a society as well, wherein there is mutual exchange and sharing that takes place. A person from, let's say, a worker community, and the person from, let's say, who is the industrialist, who's from the industrialist community, are again here keeping in the relationship or maintaining that particular relationship of exchange and mutual respect and sharing towards each other. If this society is not here, how will this society survive or sustain? If this is not here, how will they survive and sustain? And hence they mutually become a society of in economic growth or industrialization, and hence is the differences in a society very, very important aspect. So the division of labor that I just took an example of in terms of the workers and the industrialists, the division of labor, social mobility and social progress are based on differences. However, society never becomes complete by likeness only. Obviously, there has to be likeness. Society cannot just be functioning upon the differences. Society has to have the likeness to build in that sphere strong enough to address the differences out there in the larger part of the society. And hence likeness and differences go together. Yet for a smooth functioning of the society, difference should be subordinate to likeness. First priority of yours should be likeness, and hence should be carried forward to this aspect of differences. Differences of views are welcome, but all of them should work out in realizing the common interest or the goal. You have the differences in the understanding of workers and industrialists, but what is their common goal? Their common goal is earning money. Their common goal is survival. Their common goal is achieving the heights in the economical terms. And hence you do have the importance of differences as much as you have the importance of likeness in the society. Moving on to the third aspect of interdependence. Now, there is an absolute necessity of give and take in the social living. We all are social beings and we cannot survive in isolation. We have to have that interdependence. For example, family is based on sex interdependence. Procreation is a combined activity of the family life. You cannot have a male alone having that, or you cannot have a female alone having the process of procreation. It is a combined effort wherein there is interdependence plays a very important role. Similarly, a woman alone can't look after the children she begs. Then she requires the help of the father of the child. Also, the man is dependent on the woman in a day-to-day life, and hence interdependence is found in all walks of life and absolutely necessary for human survival. We do talk about our ecosystem, very, very important aspect. We do talk about ecosystem, and ecosystem is what? It is the interdependence only. It is the interdependence of the biotic on the abiotics and abiotics on the biotic sphere, the system, the ecosystem. So that is what is, so it is the first and the most important aspect and the example of interdependence, and that is what we survive and sustain on throughout our lives. Moving to the next aspect is cooperate. Now, cooperation means working together for a common goal. Okay. Now, man is capable of achieving many things independently, but many of the human needs and urges can only be fulfilled by working together with others. For example, they have taken the success of family welfare program is a result of cooperation, or similarly a football team can achieve success only through cooperation, and hence cooperation helps to maintain orderliness, unity and solidarity of the group. What is cooperation doing? Cooperation is helping you to maintain orderliness, unity of the group and solidarity of the group. It is also required in all kinds of human activities, and the human civilization is the result of combined efforts of the people only. It is not that one person came up and started the civilization and saw that evolution and witnessed that evolution, or he is responsible for the whole process of evolution. No, it is the whole human society collaboratively, cooperatively working towards the aspect of growth and civilization and evolution, and hence reaching to this sphere of making a change in the society. Moving ahead is another very, very important aspect of norms and institutions. Now, norms are nothing but the standards of behavior. What kind of a behavior, what kind of activities, what kind of a behavior is there which is acceptable, right? So, an institution means a set of fixed norms. It means a set of fixed norms in performing an important human activity. So, a set of fixed norm or a set of fixed behaviors that are there while you're performing any of the human activity is known as the institution. In other words, an institution is a definite and permanent procedure of performing any activity. Maybe it might be as small as marriage, it might be as big as family structure, or the societal the events that are there. So there is a fixed norm of, or there is a fixed or a definite way or procedure of performing any activity. However, all major activities of man are institutionalized so that any possible confusion is avoided. All the activities, all the major activities of the man are institutionalized. I mean, further on when we read about the institutions of sociology or the social institutions, we will study about it, that like marriage is one institution, family is another institution. So how these are all institutionalized, you have people, all of them a part of it, so that there is no confusion, so that it is a proper structured idea that you have a structured concept or a structured idea that you have about any of these institutions in the sociology or in the society. So social structure or the arrangements of the human beings are institutionalized. Marriage, family, transfer of wealth, property, funeral, observations, functioning of state, religious activities, all of these are institutionalized or brought under the fixed or the brought into the fold of fixed procedures. So you have all of these which are institutionalized, and you have all of these under the fixed procedures, fixed norms and fixed values and fixed ideas only. Moving on to the other aspect or the other characteristic of society is The social control and authority, again very very important. You have a society, you got to have social control. If you have, and if you want to maintain that social control, you ought to give that social authority to someone. So what happens and what is seen is that sociology, or rather the social control, it refers to the regulation of behavior and the activities of man. So whatever is there, whatever in terms of the regulation of behavior of the activities of the man is there, is known as the social control. Habits, custom, folkways, traditions, mores, education, religion, laws are the controlling factors in the society. It is the controlling factor in society. Individuals are expected to behave according to the socially approved norms. Whenever you're going to be a part of any of the societal aspect, be it, just stepping out of your home, you are expected to behave in the socially approved norms only. If norms are violated, the individuals are forced to obey them through the sanction associated with the norms. If norms are violated, you are forced in a way, the individuals are actually forced in a way to obey them through the sanctions associated with the norms, as in, through the explanations associated with the norms, or through any kind of, any kind of factor related to any kind of a punishment or any kind of a unacceptance related to the non-sanction, to the non-attainment of the sanctioned law. Now, sanctions are nothing but rewards or punishments. Like I said, punishments or rewards for obeying or disobeying the norms. Thus, society includes various social control mechanisms as well. However, you will see that there are persons in position of authority to administer sanctions. In simple cases, people themselves use the sanctions. If I'm stepping out of the house in a way which is not really appropriate, I would not really be taking, I will not really be taken to directly to the person who is having the authority of, or the position of authority in my society. There are people who are there to correct you or to guide you in the way which is socially acceptable, to follow those norms, to follow those values which are socially acceptable. Your family is the first one to take care of those things, your neighbors, your friends, all of this. They say that, in very simple cases, people themselves use the sanctions. If you are someone who's a very rebellious person and is not at all following the norms of the society, you would be excluded, you would be made an exclusion, you will be excluded from the society, or you would be made an exclusion from the society. Hence, that is what the people together are taking the ownership of, and not really taking you to the people, to the persons in position of the authority. So here in the society, because it is about acceptance, it is about, how are you following to the rules and the regulations that the society has formed in for you. Hence, the people in the society also play a very, very important role in making you follow all that is being sanctioned by the society, all the norms and the values that are being sanctioned by the society. Moving ahead is another characteristic, which is the dynamic and the changing nature. Now, society cannot be a stable society in a way that it cannot be just following one kind of ritual throughout generations. It has to be dynamic, because you also, as a part of society, kind of accepts, kind of amalgamate what is there happening outside in other societies as well, in other aspects, like, economically, what are your needs, socially, politically, all of these aspects. And hence, the society is not something which is stagnant. It is not something which will not grow. It is dynamic in nature. It is ever changing. So habits, norms, customs, traditions, mores, structures, institutions, etc. vary from society to society. It is not also same in every society. And hence, therefore, societies are of varied nature, right? Besides, society is always changing and moving. It seldom remains static. Like I said, it is very, very, very rare to find a society static. It is always changing. Now, change is taking place to please understand, meet the challenges of time and to meet the situational necessities of the people. Like I said, it is not just about the social sphere, it is about the political sphere, it is about the financial sphere, the concept of you shifting from one place to another, the climate, the weather, all of these things, all of these challenges that are there from time to time is actually what the society changes for and changes to, and also the necessities of the people because of that. So a society is resistant to change becomes irrelevant. If a society is resistant to change, okay, we will not change. Sorry, your society will be irrelevant after a point of time, because people will start moving out because of their, because of their discomforts and challenges that they start facing, and also because with time you have to grow as a society as well. If we talk about with time we have to grow as individuals, with time we do have to grow as societies as well, and hence society is dynamic and changing and not a static entity. Moving ahead is what according to Harry M. Johnson, the following are the characteristics of the society. So, according to Harry M. Johnson, you have certain characteristics of society, which says that society is a definite boundary or a definite territory. That society is territorial group. Even a society of nomads has a territory which the people consider as their own land or country. So it is in a way that they say that they refer to one of these particular territories, and hence they form that particular territory and say that their society is an aspect or the relation or is in relation with that particular territory. There are other smallest territories, such groups within the society. Such smaller ones are villages, cities, neighborhoods, and so on. Like I said, your neighborhood, your family being the first aspects of the society. They are the people who will be at once in first contact with you, and hence telling you what is accepted and what is not. Then progeny, if we talk about, means children and young persons. It is important because a society usually gets new members through reproduction. These words here is or giving birth to children. So that is how society grows. It is not something which is there or limited to one generation. It grows from one generation. It goes from one generation to the next generation or to the other generation, and hence becomes a very, very important aspect. Next is culture. Now culture is the way of life of a society. It is the way of life of a society. Every society has its own culture. Society has comprehensive culture because it is culturally self-sufficient. So you do have a comprehensive culture. You do have a culture which has your own ideas, which has your own set of mindsets, ideologies, everything, and it is a way of life for the society, right? Hence, in a large society, there are usually subcultures, because culture under the culture, because when it is comprehensive, it is obviously not able to accommodate a lot of people. It is a limited sphere or accommodating a limited number of people. For example, in India, there are subcultures like Assamese, Punjabis, Hindus, Brahmins, etc. Moving to the other aspect was of independence. Again, a society is not a subgroup of any other entity. Society is permanent, self-contained and integrated group and exists independently. It is not something which is the subgroup of any particular entity. It is something which has its own identity, which is its permanent, it is self-contained and integrated group of the society. Talking about the classification of societies, now societies can basically be categorized or classified on two aspects. One is the main economic activity involved, that is the hunting and gathering society, horticulture, agrarian and industrial societies. Now the explanation of all of these is something that we will have in the further chapters ahead, but talking about the society on the economical basis are divided or are classified into these four aspects of hunting and gathering societies, which is the very ancient societies wherein the occupation used to be very simple. You used to have hunters, you used to have gatherers, and that's how men were responsible for hunting and gathering, women were responsible for household chores. Coming to the horticulture and the pastoral, wherein the nomads came into being, wherein the role of nomads came into being, and wherein you were moving from one place to another in search of food and fodder for your animals, and hence surviving in that process. Then you had agrarian societies reaching to the agricultural aspect, wherein the whole family was involved in the process, and further on reaching to the industrial societies, which is something what we stay in and what we actually had after the process of industrialization. Moving on, next was on basis on the quality of social relationships. Now this is very, very important for us to understand. One was the Gemeinschaft, which means it is characterized by the intimate social life. It is the community where everyone knows everyone and where people share a sense of togetherness. So a Gemeinschaft society is where everyone is aware about everyone, like a family. I know about my parents know about me, or maybe an extended family. They know about me, I know about them. So everyone is aware of, everyone knows everyone, and hence they share a personal sense of togetherness. Or a Gesellschaft society, which is dominated by impersonal relationships, individual accomplishments and self-interests. It is something wherein you have your individuality coming over the aspect of society, and hence becomes a part of the Gesellschaft society.